Om Namo Narayana, Jai Swaminarayan, Namaste. Welcome back as we work our way through the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. We are on part 1, section 3. There were two classes of Prajapati's sons, the gods and the asuras. Naturally, the gods were fewer and the asuras were more in number. They vied with each other for mastery of these worlds. The gods said, "Now let us surpass the asuras in this sacrifice through the Udgitha." They said to the organ of speech, "Chant the Udgitha for us." "All right," said the organ of speech, and chanted for them. The common good that comes of the organ of speech it secured for the gods by chanting, while the fine speaking it utilized for itself. The asuras knew that through this chanter the gods would surpass them. They charged it and struck it with evil. That evil is what we come across when one speaks improper things. Then they said to the nose, "Chant the Udgitha for us." "All right," said the nose, and chanted for them. The common good that comes of the nose it secured for the gods by chanting, while the fine smelling it utilized for itself. The asuras knew that through this chanter the gods would surpass them. They charged it and struck it with evil. That evil is what we come across when one smells improper things. Then they said to the eye, "Chant the Udgitha for us." "All right," said the eye, and chanted for them. The common good that comes of the eye it secured for the gods by chanting, while the fine seeing it utilized for itself. The asuras knew that through this chanter the gods would surpass them. They charged it and struck it with evil. That evil is what we come across when one sees improper things. Then they said to the ear, "Chant the Udgitha for us." "All right," said the ear, and chanted for them. The common good that comes of the ear it secured for the gods by chanting, while the fine hearing it utilized for itself. The asuras knew that through this chanter the gods would surpass them. They charged it and struck it with evil. That evil is what we come across when one hears improper things. Then they said to the mind, "Chant the Udgitha for us." "All right," said the mind, and chanted for them. The common good that comes of the mind it secured for the gods by chanting, while the fine thinking it utilized for itself. The asuras knew that through this chanter the gods would surpass them. They charged it and struck it with evil. That evil is what we come across when one thinks improper things. Likewise, they also touched these other deities, striking them with evil. Then they said to the vital force in the mouth, "Chant the Udgitha for us." "All right," said the vital force, and chanted for them. The asuras knew that through this chanter the gods would surpass them. They charged it and wanted to strike it with evil. But as a clod of earth striking against a rock is shattered, so were they shattered, flung in all directions, and they perished. Therefore the gods became fire, etc., and the asuras were crushed. He who knows thus becomes his true self, and his envious kinsman is crushed. They said, "Where was he who has thus restored us to our divinity?" And they discovered, "Here he is within the mouth." The vital force is called Ayasya Angirasa, for it is the essence of the members of the body. This deity is called Dur, because death is far from it. Death is far from one who knows this. This deity took away death, the evil of these gods, and carried it to where these quarters end. There it left their evils. Therefore, one should not approach a person of that region, nor go to that region beyond the border, lest one imbibe that evil, that being death. This deity, after taking away death and the evil of the gods, next carried them beyond death. It carried the organ of speech, the foremost one first. When the organ of speech got rid of death, it became fire. That fire, having transcended death, shines beyond its reach. Then it carried the nose. When it got rid of death, it became air. That air, having transcended death, blows beyond its reach. Then it carried the eye. When the eye got rid of death, it became the sun. That sun, having transcended death, shines beyond its reach. Then it carried the ear. When the ear got rid of death, it became the quarters. Those quarters, having transcended death, remain beyond its reach. Then it carried the mind. When that mind got rid of death, it became the moon. That moon, having transcended death, shines beyond its reach. So does this deity carry one who knows thus, beyond death. Next it secured edible food for itself by chanting, for whatever food is eaten by the vital force alone, and it rests on that. The gods said, "Whatever food there is, just this much, and you have secured it for yourself by chanting. Now let us have a share in this food." "Then sit facing round me," said the vital force. "All right," said the gods, and they sat down around it. Hence, whatever food one eats through the vital force satisfies these. So do his relatives sit around him facing who knows this, and he becomes their support, the greatest among them and their leader, a good eater of food, and the ruler of them. That one among his relatives who desires to rival a man of such knowledge is powerless to support his dependents, but one who follows him, or desires to maintain one's dependents being under him, is alone capable of supporting them. It is called ayasya and girasa, for it is the essence of the members of the body. The vital force is indeed the essence of the members. Of course it is their essence. For instance, from whichever member the vital force departs, right there it withers. Therefore this is of course the essence of the members. This alone is also Brihaspati, lord of the Rik. Speech is indeed Brihati, or Rik, and this is the Lord. Therefore this is also Brihaspati. This alone is also Brahmanaspati, lord of the Yajas. Speech is indeed Brahman, Yajas, and this is the Lord. Therefore this is also Brahmanaspati. This alone is also Saman. Speech is indeed Sa, and this is Ama. Because it is Sa, speech, and Ama, vital force, therefore Saman is also called. Or because it is equal to a white ant, equal to a mosquito, equal to an elephant, equal to the three worlds, equal to the universe, therefore this is also Saman. He who knows this Saman, or the vital force, to be such attains union with it, or lives in the same world with it. This indeed is also Udgitha. The vital force is indeed Ud, for all this is held aloft by the vital force, and speech alone is Gita. This is Udgita, because it is Ud and Gita. Regarding this, there is also a story. Brahmadatta, the great-grandson of Chikatana, while drinking soma, said, "Let this soma strike off my head if I say that Anyasya and Girasa chanted the Udgita through any other than this vital force and speech." Indeed, he chanted through speech and the vital force. He who knows the wealth of this Saman, this vital force, attains wealth. Tone is indeed wealth. Therefore, one who is going to officiate as a priest should desire to have a rich tone in his voice, and he should do his priestly duties through that voice with a fine tone. Therefore, in a sacrifice, people long to see a priest with a good voice, like one who has wealth. He who knows the wealth of Saman to be such attains wealth. He who knows the gold of this Saman obtains gold. Tone is indeed its gold. He who knows the gold of Saman to be such obtains gold. He who knows the support of this Saman gets a resting place. Speech is indeed its support, for resting on speech is the vital force thus chanted. Some say resting on food. Now, therefore, the edifying repetition only of the hymns called Pavamanas, the priest called Prastotir, indeed recites the Saman. While he recites it, these mantras are to be repeated. From evil lead me to good, from darkness lead me to light, from death lead me to immortality. When the mantra says, from evil lead me to good, evil means death, and good means immortality. So it says, from death lead me to immortality, as in make me immortal. When it says, from darkness lead me to light, darkness means death, and light, immortality. So it says, from death lead me to immortality, or make me immortal. In the dictum, from death lead me to immortality, the meaning does not seem to be hidden. Then, through the remaining hymns, the chanter should secure edible food for himself by chanting. Therefore, while they are being chanted, the sacrificer should ask for a boon, anything that he desires. Whatever objects this chanter possessed of such knowledge desires, either for himself or for the sacrificer, he secures them by chanting. This meditation certainly wins the world. He who knows the salmon as such has not to pray lest he be unfit for this world. Thus ends part 3. So this was a very esoteric part of this Upanishad on some level, and yet on the other hand, it's very clear what its meaning is. Or maybe I just read this and it feels very clear. Having read a lot of the scriptures, when you read a lot, they begin to make more sense. If this was the first scripture I read, I'd probably be a little bit frightened. And with that, we'll pause, and then in the next video pick up part 4. So thank you for watching. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Swaminarayan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.